too long ago.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another lovely edition of the Mack Brothers podcast.
It's a special edition.
As
today.
you can see, we have, not to be confused with the name in the bottom left corner, can you tell everyone what your actual name is?
Dom, and that is my last name.
Dom
That's
Console.
Dom Console, everybody. Well, Phired Up Sports, the fastest growing sports podcast in all of Pennsylvania.
And the only
Nah, I
reliable source for Philadelphia sports news that
Yeah.
you can actually get.
Dom, I always say you can literally go back on almost every podcast, and I always say there's two podcasts. There's only two sports podcasts in the whole world. It's Phired Up, which has all the Philly sports, and the Rights to Ricky Sanchez, which is just for Sixers. And you're right there with them.
I fucking appreciate it. I love that.
Tell us a little bit about the growth of Phired Up.
Yeah, well, dude, so like me and my cousin Mike, we started this podcast almost 2 years ago, actually. April will be 2 years. We started this podcast. We always, fight about sports, so we figured why not just hit record. So yeah, we started this podcast right before the NFL draft 2 years ago, and we were just kind of seeing where it would go. It kind of became this thing where we wanted it to be bigger and bigger, but we needed to get there. And then eventually, I want to say it was about last summer, we grew into starting a website, writing about sports, Philly sports. Just took on a bunch of writers, and that's brought us, a good amount of success. And then back in October, we launched our own Philly sports podcast network. So we have a couple really good shows, a couple really great shows underneath us, under that umbrella, and it's been fun, man. It's been it's a grind, but it's been fun, like you guys know.
Gotta say, and I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. You guys kind of lit a fire under us to start taking podcasting serious.
I appreciate that.
And
I take that as a compliment.
Yeah, no, we really like we haven't missed a week since we started, and we want to eventually make it a platform, not just a normal podcast.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's there's obvious, your mom's house and Ricky Sanchez and stuff like that, but like to see someone that we grew up with do it successfully, it's like, fuck yeah, let's fucking do it. We're very proud and happy for you and the whole team.
Oh, dude, that means a lot. I appreciate it. I'll even past the podcast, it's the mutual here with music, the music you guys are doing. Obviously we use one of your older songs for our intro. Dude, it fucking hypes us up every single time.
Shout out to the 1940s.
Like, literally, dude, I've had people be like, yo, like, where can I find that song? My mom was like, she's like, that song, it's just so loud. I was like, yeah, that's the point. My uncle, the big rock guy, Mike's dad, actually, big music guy, and he's like, I fucking love it.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
That's
I mean,
awesome.
it's the love is mutual. Seriously.
Fuck yeah, man. That's awesome.
I started Philomares. I was in eighth grade. No, I was in second grade. So I think it was 8. You may have been 9.
2 years off.
So yeah, a few years off. So I think I may have known you since I was 8 years old. Loosely.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, we were in different grades, and you know how it is.
But only
when you're a year older.
Yeah,
it's like a whole thing back then. But I think that's how long we've been aware of each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's second grade? 2000.
Second grade for me, I think it's if I was 8, it would have been 04, 05.
Yeah,
That's
around that.
crazy.
Yeah.
How much fun.
That's insane. It's really cool.
It's a fucking reality check too. Like, do you ever were you ever growing up and like somebody older, like your parents or like or like an aunt and uncle will be like, yeah, I've known him for like 20 years. And you'd be like, shit, like what is that? Now we're like, holy shit, I've known you for 20 years.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point.
Now we're basically we're uncle age.
Yeah, it's yeah. I have 2 nephews and a niece, so, and another nephew on the way. So it's real. Life is real.
It's crazy. Like look back at just the last 2 years. I feel like growth spurts happen for people, like, because I feel like I was 18 until I was 26.
Yeah.
And then once I turned 26, I was like, oh fuck, I'm like an actual adult. Like, it came out of nowhere.
Yo, the other day we were like, I was talking to somebody like, and I'm like, oh yeah, like 2 years ago, like 2016, and I'm like, wait, fuck, that's like 7 years ago. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, what the fuck? Like, it feels like the Eagles won the Super Bowl like 2 years ago, and it's really like 5.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah, and
Same.
it's just with anything too. It's like yo, like I remember this album I used to listen to, like I don't know, like Good Kid, Mad City by Kendrick Lamar. Like I was a junior in high school, and I'm like, wow, dude, that's like 10 years ago. What the fuck?
I think if I could just real quick,
Yeah,
I think two things, at least for me, fuck up my perception of time. I think social media is a big one.
Yes.
I think being on social media every day it's damaging in that way. Like you kind of just lose track of time. And then I also think, oh, my thought just totally went out of my head. But it's weird. It's
It
the
happens to me
pandemic.
like 3 times a day.
The pandemic. I think
Yes.
like that, from 2020 to like 2022, I feel like that was just a total like white spot in my memory.
Well, dude, it's crazy too. Like I was kind of having the conversation with somebody recently where it's like my uncle, like I said, big music guy, Mike's dad. He'll say like there you have certain bands like Nirvana or the Beatles, like where it was like time before the Beatles and then time after the Beatles, and then it's like time before Nirvana and the time after Nirvana, how much things changed. I feel like it's like civilization before COVID and civilization after COVID. It's stupid. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
No, it's really ridiculous. I was just about to say, and I remember listening to Everything You've Come to Expect by Last Shadow Puppets.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with that.
I know the name.
Arctic Monkeys side band.
So
Okay.
I remember listening to that album for the first time in 2016. I was doing push-ups in our 70th Street house in Southwest, and that was 4 places I lived to go. Like,
Yeah.
in only 26 from 2016 to now, it's been 4 different places.
It's funny too because I think you guys have been to my house like when I was on Wolf Street in South Philly, and like, dude, that was like 2 or 3 houses ago for me. It feels like yesterday, and that was like what, 2014, almost.
It was a while ago.
Years ago, yeah. I mean,
it was definitely a while.
What's your address now? No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
Everybody go to Dom's house.
All right, so we got to talk about something
all right,
that's super important. The trade deadline, NBA trade deadline.
Hit me with it.
You know what? Ken, what do you think about the Kyrie Irving trade?
Oh yeah, let's do that real quick.
Yeah, I think it was important to put a superstar next to Luka. I feel like the Mavs for a while tried to like sell people on like the idea that like, oh, we have the next superstar. Like Christian Wood's a nice player, and they tried to be ahead of the curve a little bit too much. Last year, Porzingis, obviously, what's held him back was injuries. But it just kind of felt like they always try to be ahead of the curve, and now they're bringing in an actual superstar, and I think that's really going to help Luka. And it seems like they're going to start moving a lot of these mediocre pieces and try to actually bring in legit, players. So I think it's a good trade. I mean, I think personally maybe the Clippers had a little bit better of an offer, but it seemed like that owner in Brooklyn just didn't want him to send him to anywhere in LA.
Very petty.
So
very petty.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I kind of love that.
Yeah, fuck Kyrie. So like I'm happy he did that. I actually feel like it's a mistake. I think he's gonna ruin. I mean, I don't really know the chemistry, that well in Dallas, but I will say, everywhere he's been, he's ruined every single team.
Right.
So, I just think it maybe they go for it all this year, but who's to say he don't even walk in free agency?
Well, I think wherever he was going to go, they're going to try to pay him. I think they could only give him 2 years. Brooklyn could have given him 4 years. It's some stupid rule, but I think, it might not work out. I don't know, but at least I'm talking about from the Dallas perspective of where like we're finally bringing in somebody that can compete up to what Luka does. Obviously, Luka I think is better, but somebody that can actually play with Luka and try to win. And this guy's at least won a championship. He came up big in that series. So I'm not a big Kyrie guy, but I just from the Dallas perspective, I think it was one of the better moves they could have made at this point.
Definitely.
I just real quick, let me just chime in. I kind of agree with John, but I think I'm a little bit further. One, Kyrie he can step foot on the court, his first game or whatever, and he could just sprain his ankle and he's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's very injury prone. I think he's a chemistry killer. I don't see they might be a little bit better than they were before. I don't really know Dallas's team too well. I know Luka's obviously a superstar, but when you have a player like Kyrie who's such a baby about everything,
right,
and anything, it could be addition by subtraction or whatever that phrase is. But I guess it does, like you're saying, to echo your point, it does show Luka, like, hey, the Mavs front office, we want to win. We want to put pieces around you. This one, is an attempt to compete at a higher level. It just I think it's a high risk, high reward situation.
Sure. No, I agree with all that. I mean, I think that he has to play somewhere. You know what I mean? Like he's not going to be like Carson Wentz in football terms, like where like he might be out of a job like altogether. But
he's way too good.
Yeah, right. He's too good. I agree. I think it's kind of, dude. I think it's fucking hilarious that like he's the type of guy that like will wake up and be like, yeah, I don't feel like playing today, and like he did that last year. Like he just woke up, be like, I'm not feeling it today. Could you I wish I could do that. Like I just wake up for like fuck this play. I'm not going to work today. Like I wish I could, and make millions. I wish I could do that, but unfortunately, I'm a 9-to-5 bitch. But
I'm 6-4.
You know what though? You're a respectable human being, and Kyrie Irving is not a respectable human being. That is true. Kyrie Irving, actually, when you think about it, is it actually a piece of shit?
Yeah.
All right.
Kyrie Irving's banned from. I'm sorry, Kyrie Irving's banned from the podcast.
Yeah. Could you imagine waking up and being like, I don't feel like playing, and the Earth is flat? That's crazy.
I've been saying for a long time. This isn't a sports thing, but I've been saying it must be so nice to be super religious and super Republican. It must be so nice to wake up and go, just be in your own little Christian bubble.
God's got my back.
God's got my back, and let's kick all the immigrants out. It must just feel
until something bad happens, and then you die of cancer because you thought God was going to cure you.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
right.
But it must feel like I really wish I could wake up and be ignorant sometimes, or that ignorant. I'm ignorant about some shit, but all right. So next, quick question. Matisse Thybulle, is he a Sixer Friday?
That's a loaded question. Because he's not a Sixer at the end of this year or after the end of this year.
Does he want to leave for free agency?
Well, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, which basically means, I think they're done with him. He doesn't play, so we were talking about it on the show one Monday. Like he's a nice player on defense in the regular season on a Tuesday night in February. If he could have just consistently hit that, like if he could be a 3-and-D guy, he's valuable in this league. I saw something today on Twitter. It was like, if we could just do everything that Furkan does, and I'm not a Furkan Korkmaz fan. If we could do, if we could get a guy that could do his best trait, which is shoot the ball good sometimes, and have everything good defensively about Matisse Thybulle, we have a nice player. Like if we could mesh those together, man, I don't know. I think they make a move or 2 moves this week.
Yeah.
But is he going to be a Sixer? That's a hard question. I think not, because they're going to have to make a move, and they're going to have to get a bigger body. And who else are you going to trade?
I feel like I would give like a quarter of my pinky for Jay Crowder.
Okay.
I feel like I would love Jay Crowder instead of Thybulle in that spot coming off the bench. He could play. He could when personally, PJ should be on the bench.
PJ should be shot into the sun.
Yeah, and then if you, You know what though? I don't
That's
know.
fair.
There's
Let's get
something
Elon
in
on
my
it.
soul that thinks when the playoffs come, he's going to be the actual backup to
Let's
Embiid.
hope. Yeah.
But I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways we can shape this roster, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Because I could talk about the Six. I think I could talk about the Sixers
Yeah,
for a
for
couple
sure.
days.
Of course.
And we don't have that much time, so let's get into the thick of it. Dom, what's going on Sunday?
I don't know, guys. What's going on Sunday? Just another football game, right?
The Eagles.
Finally,
The Eagles are in the fucking Super Bowl. Besides the fact that I'm going to be an absolute disgrace, I got some questions for you.
You already
Dom.
are. Don't worry, John.
So, I bet the Eagles.
Okay.
I think they're going to win.
Did we just go straight money line or?
No. Well, the line's only 1.5.
Yeah.
So
It kept moving, dude. It was like it started. I don't know if you saw. It started out 1.5 on the Chiefs.
yeah.
Then it went 1.5 on the Eagles. Then it went up to 2. Now it's back down at 1.5.
Mm-hmm. I think it went back down because the reports are coming out that Mahomes' ankle's feeling pretty good. But
yeah.
So I got
Of course, but you know what though? Of course, that report came out. What is it going to call? Oh, Mahomes' ankle got worse. Like they're not going to put that report out.
Yeah, Mahomes is in a wheelchair.
Speaking of wheelchairs, I got a funny story. But go ahead.
I'm very curious.
Do we want to know? Okay.
I'm sorry. You got to go.
I was on the way home today from work, and I'm in the car, and I see this dude who has one leg. Right, he's like in like a motorized wheelchair, and I'm thinking to myself, he got like an Eagle shirt on. I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, if they win Sunday and I'm on Broad Street and I'm climbing pole, I'm fortunate enough to have 2 legs to climb this pole. Like this dude, he's got one leg.
Take an escalator to the pole.
Yeah, yeah, right. Right. So I'm thinking to myself, like, damn, it must suck to have one leg. I can't climb poles. Like that's the first thing that came to my mind. Like, isn't that fucked up?
Imagine you got a prosthetic and then you found out the poles were greased. You'd be pissed.
Yeah.
You'd be pissed.
That it's funny. I was just watching 2004 Eagles highlights when they were in the Super Bowl with T.O.
Yeah.
And T.O. on the sideline screaming, "I got one fucking leg and they can't guard me." And I was like, "Oh,
yeah,
god damn it!"
Yeah.
I cried when they lost.
Yeah,
but
me
I was
too.
I was a boy. I was a little boy. But anyway,
I was a baby.
I got some prop questions, Dom.
Okay.
Prop questions.
I got some props, and I hand wrote them.
All right, let's
from
hear them.
I don't know. What do you have? Is one of your sponsors a gambling site?
We had something at one point, but we don't talk about that anymore.
All right, fuck that. But anyway, so anytime touchdown score, Travis Kelce -120. Yeah or nay?
I'm gonna say no. Because I think that the Eagles defense is so good, they're going to shut down the best option possible, and he's the best option possible.
Really? See,
yes.
I this is my thing. I think that if I had to guess the score, it'd be 34-24 Eagles, and I think Mahomes is going to have 2 of the 3 touchdowns, and I would bet that one of them is going to Kelce. It's not
possible.
Yeah. I mean,
he's a top 5 tight end of all time.
I'm really going out on a limb.
Yeah.
I take that. I mean, I think he gets a touchdown.
I mean, your odds are better of it hitting. Like it's obviously like he's obviously the best target. Like I said, a top 5 tight end ever, the best in the league. The only reason I feel like it's a no because I think they're gonna put CJ Gardner-Johnson, whoever, one of these guys is gonna follow him the entire game. Yeah. And I'm confident enough in my team to say that they're going to try their hardest to shut him down. I'm not going to say they are because, like I said, he's Travis Kelce. You know, it's not like LJ Smith. You know what I mean?
Well, you know, my only thinking is that like we can have someone tail him, but once the probably the weakest spot is our linebackers, and once he gets right into that little area, if they're in the goal, if they're in the red zone, once he gets right in that little but that between area, that's where I think they're going to try to slice us up. I don't think they're going to be extremely successful, but
see, I think go ahead. All right, we'll talk about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, go next.
Jalen Hurts +100. This would be a rushing touchdown.
I'm going to say again. I'm going to say no because I think we saw it last week. He ran the ball when he absolutely had to.
Yeah.
I think, and it was later in the game. Again, could it happen? Absolutely. But and I'm only basing this off of what I saw 2 weeks ago against San Francisco. He just didn't look like the last few weeks he wanted to run the ball. So
yeah.
Could they be on the 1 or an inch line and him, do that play that they do? Yeah, sure.
I also just want to say, everyone was saying, I remember watching like a CBS broadcast of the Eagles earlier in the season, and they were like, we don't know what to call that. Like the quarterback sneak, they don't have a name for it.
Right.
Ours is so good. And I named it.
I mean,
I named it.
Oh, what is it?
And I can't believe people haven't called it this yet. It's the Philly push, man.
Ah,
there you go.
The Philly push.
I haven't heard that yet.
They bust out the Philly push, and you're done. That's it.
A really good.
You know what? I'll go on a limb. I think if they're inside the 1 inch line,
goal line, yeah,
they're gonna do it.
Goal line for us is a lock. I mean, if we get on the. I mean,
all right. Valdez Scantling plus 250.
I'm gonna say no again because, well, I'm gonna keep saying no to everybody. It's gonna be a fucking 45-40 game.
What are you thinking? A low scoring game? Is that?
No, to be honest with you, I think they're gonna run the shit out of the ball, or at least maybe not run the ball. I think the running backs they have 3 good running backs who can catch the ball.
Yeah,
I think they're gonna really, because like you said, like the linebackers are the weakest link. I think they're gonna try to really dump the ball off to McKinnon and gain 15-20 yards on a little 2-yard, pass.
They don't want pressure against Mahomes too with his ankle like that.
Right.
And the Eagles have obviously one of the best pass rushes ever. So It's one of those things they don't want. I mean, as soon as any of these quarterbacks have pressure,
the ball's going to come out quick.
As soon as we get pressure against any quarterback, if we consistently get pressure and win that battle with our defensive line, the game's over.
Right. No, I agree. They're gonna try to get the ball out quick.
My sleeper pick for MVP.
Okay.
Kenny Gainwell. Anytime touchdown scorer plus 360.
Listen.
I think that's a pick.
He can have 3 touchdowns this game.
Yeah, right. Listen, 2 weeks ago, I would have said, you're crazy. And then we watched him put 112 yards on the Giants. Then last week, I would have said, you're crazy. And then he fucking went crazy again. So I think you're crazy. No, I'm just kidding. It's very possible. I think that on the show on Monday on Phired Up, I said that I think Sanders is under the rushing. I think it was like 62 and or 50 something.
I have it. Do I have it right here? I have it right here, but go ahead. I know.
Whatever it is, I said it was. What is it?
61 and a half.
Yeah, so I said it was under only because I think they're going to use Boston Scott, Kenny Gainwell, and Sanders.
Agree.
And they're gonna use all 3 in the passing game and the running game.
That's what they've done all season.
Right.
I mean, Sanders had a fantastic year, but it hasn't been Miles Sanders as our running back, who's the only one who's featured. He's not a 3-down back like that.
And especially in the playoffs, we saw Kenny Gainwell go kind of crazy last couple of weeks. So
yeah, I think he has the hot hand. I would say he's. If I was betting, I wouldn't bet a lot on it, but I would bet. Like the thing where it says like 2 touchdown score.
Mm-hmm.
I would bet Kenny Gainwell. I think it's like plus like 900 for him to score 2 touchdowns. I would put money on that.
I like that.
I think that's a fun prop bet.
Yo, I'm gonna be like, dude, if he fucking scores, I'm gonna text you.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
We'll try to meet on Broad Street.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna text you, but I'm gonna text you.
Text me something, man. Just let me know you're alive.
Yeah. Kenny Gainwell touchdown. That's all I'm gonna say.
Passing yards. The over and unders. So Mahomes is 292 and a half.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going under.
I'm gonna go under. I don't think against this defense he's gonna. I think he's gonna get his fair share. I just don't think he's gonna go over that.
Well, I think since what you're saying earlier, if they're run heavy, it's gonna be really hard for him to get 292.
Yeah. I think if they dump the ball off too. I mean,
Eagles play hardcore possession football. Also,
yeah,
we hold on to the ball
7 minutes. Yeah,
7-8 minutes of drive is our goal.
Yeah,
that's all. Get pressure on the quarterback and possession. I mean, if we do that and run the ball, I mean, it's going to look like the other two games look.
Sure.
Yeah. I would say under 2, but I'm not gonna bet it.
No.
I don't try to bet the. I'm never good at betting the passing yards.
Yeah.
And then Hurts 238.5.
It's tough because he's even this year. He wasn't that guy that was throwing.
Yeah.
300 plus yards. So
how many 300
right
plus yard
around his
games did he
wheelhouse,
have
man.
this season? 2?
what's that?
I think he may only had like 2 300 plus yard games this year.
It's about right. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
There was one game. My brother-in-law bet him this year to have one game over 400 passing, and he lost by like 20 yards or something. So yeah, he was definitely close to almost hitting 4, I believe. I think it's right around his wheelhouse. Like, is that 238? There's games he comes out and doesn't put over 199. There's games he comes out and he puts, 280s or something. So for fun, I'm saying over. Fuck it. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Good point.
All right, rushing yards. Hurts again. 49.5.
Ah, man, I hate that. Because I think he has like 40 or 45.
Yeah. He definitely comes close.
I think he's going to be more aggressive, way more aggressive with his feet than he was the first 2 games.
I hope so.
He didn't have to run. I mean, if you look at how both of those games shook out, I mean, there wasn't really a situation where he was ever forced to even run.
Right. You're not wrong. But that first half against San Francisco was scary. It was 7-7 for a while, and you kind of were hoping like, well, why? Like you were kind of asking yourself like, why doesn't he run the ball much? I don't know if you guys remember the what was it, the first or second drive of the game, the Devontae Smith catch, no catch, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Obviously that play happens. I don't think it was the next play. I think it was the play after that. Second down maybe. They're inside the 5, and he's got all day. And when you're inside the 5, it's kind of hard to throw the ball. I don't know if you guys remember, he kind of was like back there all day. He had all day to throw, and just there was nobody open. And I'm screaming on the couch, run, 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 and he just wouldn't run. So that's the only thing we have to base off of 2 weeks ago. So it's tough. Like they didn't play last week. So how well do I know how well his shoulder is this week? And unfortunately, that's what's stopping him from running the ball. So it's tough. It's tough to wait 2 weeks and say, is he 100%? Nobody's 100% healthy at this point, but is he closer to 100 or not? Like so I'm gonna have to say under. I think he's around 40. I do.
Yeah.
Based off of 2 weeks ago.
Well, Mahomes' ankle apparently feels really good again. So,
All right. Now
he's 100% if you listen to everybody else.
We already talked about Sanders, and we said it's 61.5. So yes. I think I would bet under.
Not because of ability. No, yeah, it's just because they use other guys.
The scary thing is
does KC have a good rush defense?
I think it's okay. I don't think.
Yeah.
What's up with their defense in general? I mean, I think the story of the game is going to be who wins the battle at the line.
Of course, it always is.
That's always the story of the game.
Yeah.
But guys of a certain caliber like Mahomes sometimes can overcome that. I just don't know. I think our goal is going to be the same as it was. Just put him on his ass. I mean, look what happened with all we injured both of their quarterbacks in San Fran.
Yeah,
they couldn't throw the second half. I mean, that's all our defense.
Yo, listen to this, right? In the fourth quarter, there was 2 pass attempts. When's the last time an NFC or a championship game, AFC, NFC, that there were 2 pass attempts in the fourth quarter, and one was by a running back? McCaffrey threw a pass.
What was that? Probably the 50s.
Yeah, right. That's what. That's literally what I said. Somebody's like, I really wonder. It might have been like the 80s. I'm like, nah, probably like 56. Like,
yeah. I think.
But
right.
when the forward pass was illegal.
yeah. It was an accident.
Essentially rugby.
What was it?
It was a fumble. No, but what was it? What was I going to say here? I was going to answer that question somehow. I forget. I lost my train of thought.
I don't know. The only scary thing about betting unders is that Sanders can just pull out a 25-yarder out of nowhere, and you're like, oh, fuck me.
Yep.
Well, You can't really be upset if he does that though.
Yeah. But
All
then
right,
again, he could pull out a 50 and like just not do anything after that. So
yeah, I know.
You know who very well could be the MVP of this game, but what I don't think would ever, under any circumstance, win the award? Lane Johnson. I mean, that dude
the
is
offensive line.
otherworldly.
Yeah, please.
There was we looked it up on the show on Monday. We looked up how many defensive MVPs there were in Super Bowl history. Like, there's only been 7, and I know obviously we're saying offensive line, but in the 90s, the Cowboys defensive line as a whole won the award. So it's not. It
Really?
wouldn't be impossible if the offensive line,
That would be
won
really
as a
cool.
whole. Yeah.
I mean, this is probably. You think this is Kelsey's last game?
Man, you guys came with a load of questions. What's harder to answer, Thibault getting traded or Kelsey's last game?
I think Thibault's getting traded. By the way, I don't know if I said that earlier, but I think he's going. I mean, like, I think we get like fucking Jared Vanderbilt for him or something.
Yeah.
And then we have a backup that's actually worth something.
Yeah. All right. So
speaking
Kelsey...
of shot in the sun, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Fucking Montrezl Harrell.
Yeah.
I mean, oh my lord, I don't think I can watch him ever again.
They asked him today, like, do you know what's going on? He's like, nah, man, I got no idea.
You could have answered that about anything.
Yeah. Yo, they it's so funny. He wins like 6th man of the year 2 years ago. Now he's gonna be out of a job in 2 days.
It's crazy. It's crazy. He just doesn't fucking do it. I mean, he can't jump. He can't block. There's no rim protection. He fucking don't. He misses layups. He fucking doesn't try. I mean, he's not a lob threat at all anymore.
Yeah.
Because he can't get up. He just lets people go right by him on defense. Ben Simmons scored fucking 8 points in a row on him.
Yeah.
I mean, and I had Ben Simmons under. I had Ben Simmons under 9.5 points that game. And the only time he got I think he got the 10 or 11 points, and 8 of them were on fucking Montrezl Harrell. I wanted to shoot him in his fucking kneecaps. Anyway,
I think someone's already shot him in his kneecaps. Just saying.
Yeah, he's playing like it. What were you saying?
Man,
this is his last game.
Something about this that feels like he's gonna come back next year. But if they win, I wouldn't be shocked. If he doesn't,
why not? Don't make the Brady mistake, man. Just fucking ride off into the sunset.
I do want him to ride off into the sunset a little bit, just because CTE scares the fuck out of me.
And it's funny.
And I love him as a person.
Yeah, it's funny because they for years they kept trying to get his replacement. Like, it was like they drafted Sam Alu with the intention that Kelsey's gonna be here for like 2 more years. Then he played 5.
Yeah.
And then they bring in Dickerson and they're like, oh yeah, in like 2 years, and then Dickerson's now your left guard. And then they bring in Juergens and it's like, is he done? Juergens
is going to be good.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Juergens is not going to be Kelsey, but he's going to be good.
No, but he gets
very
very
serviceable.
Kelsey, and he's very much like Kelsey. He's a small, strong, athletic guy. So,
all right, last rushing, Gainwell again, 19.5. I feel like that's an easy over.
I saw somebody get it at 10.5.
Oh my god!
Someone had it at 10.5 for Gainwell.
Yep. I would put $100 on 10.5.
It keeps going up.
I'd put $500 on 10.5.
So it was 10.5 like last week. Then it went up to like 17.5, then 18.5. And I guess it's at 19.5 now. 19. So they know something we don't know.
I mean, I bet it at 19.5 without a doubt.
Yeah. I'd bet overs. Yeah, I'd go overs. Why not?
Last thing, receiving.
That was rushing, you said?
Rushing, yeah. I wouldn't bet any of the Eagles running backs with. I mean, they obviously catch some balls, but I wouldn't. Bank on it.
All purpose, yeah.
Receiving yards. Goddard 49.5.
I'm gonna go over. I think this is, and we've seen it this year where they can play a game where, because I think there's another guy on the Eagles that has a big game. We've seen where, I think it was against Dallas, both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith had over 100 yards. So I wouldn't be surprised if Goddard and the other guy that I'm thinking go crazy. I don't.
Who are you?
We'll see if we get there.
Okay.
All right. So next we'll do Travis Kelce, 79.5.
See, that's another tough one too, because
he's the highest. I mean, it's not surprising.
I'm going under
on any.
I'm going under for him. I think he misses it by like a few yards too. Like everyone who has overs on that, like he gets like 77 yards and still has a really good game.
See, I think he either has a shitty game yards wise, but has like 2 touchdowns, or
The opposite.
has no touchdowns but goes for like 90.
Yeah.
The
I'm
Eagles
gonna
would
go
love
under
that.
though. I agree with you. I'm gonna go under.
I
Are we
would
propless now?
I would probably bet over. No, we have a couple more, but we have to go through them fast. So Dom, we're cheap here in the Mack Brothers.
Yeah.
So we have the free Zoom.
Okay.
So we have 3.5 minutes left.
All right. Let's fire him in.
Lightning round.
Yep.
Lightning round.
I'm fired up for this.
AJ Brown, 72.5.
Under.
I agree.
Hey, what is it? AJ Brown 72.5
Juju
under.
Smith-Schuster. They got some fucking names at wide
They sure
receiver,
do.
the Chiefs. Juju Smith-Schuster, 38.5.
I'm gonna go
Over.
over.
I would bet under because I think Scatling
Okay.
at 37.5 is going to be over.
I wouldn't be surprised if like one of you guys mentioned it earlier. You know, they need a guy to go. You know, pretty crazy. I don't know if he scores, but he can get over 40. That's one pass. You know what I mean?
I think he scores, and I think Kelsey scores. That's what I would bet. For them, but then I think maybe you get a Pacheco. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
You get a touchdown from him, maybe, but I
Right.
think that's it. I think we stop him at that. Maybe a field goal.
Couple field goals. Yeah.
And then where are we at? My boy, Devontae Smith, 63.5.
Over. That's my guy. That's the other guy.
Is that your other guy?
I think Devontae Smith has 2 touchdowns for like 180 yards. No, not really. I think he has 2 touchdowns for like close to 100. I think Devontae. I think
you're predicting a big game from Devontae Smith.
I think it's Devontae.
I fucking love it. Homegrown.
All right, I have one. It's not a prop.
All right.
It's just a guess.
Okay.
Who wins the turnover battle? What are we looking at?
I'm gonna have to go the team that was at the top of the turnover board for the season. I'm gonna have to go the Eagles. I think the Eagles. I was feeling either Slay or Gardner Johnson getting a pick.
I think Reddick with the pressure.
Yeah, that's possible. Sack fumble. Yeah.
But we have like 3 players that could have won Defensive Player of the Year, so it's kind of hard to pick which one on our line should.
See, I think the Eagles could win that 2-1. I do.
I could see 2-1.
I could see 2-0.
Yeah, it's possible.
Truth.
It's possible.
I think what I'm worried about with the Eagles is 3 and outs.
Yeah.
Lackluster play calling 3 and outs more than I'm worried about. Oh, Hurts is going to turn it over.
Oh, well, if the Eagles turn it over, I don't think it's Hurts. I think it could be a Sanders fumble or a Goddard fumble or something like that. But I don't think Hurts turns the ball over.
All right, so we have a minute, just about a minute left. Everyone's final predictions for the score. I'm going 31-24 Eagles.
I'm saying 34-24 Eagles.
Jeez, we're closing in on the Super Bowl, and I don't even have a prediction. I'm gonna stick in the 30s with you guys. Like I'm gonna say 34-31. I think it's a close game.
Wow.
All right,
the Eagles. That's the thing. The Eagles either win by 40 or win by 4. Like it's just the way that it's been this year.
100%.
Shout out to our sponsor, League Island.
League Island
Brewing Club. Shout out to our
best beer,
sponsor,
Jimmy Esposito's beer, Dom.
Oh, okay.
Unbelievable. Well, his father, you probably know Jimmy, but his father's beer, unbelievable.
Big thanks to our great friend Dom Console of
Phired Up Sports.
All their info will be in the bio.
Fucking love you, Dom. Love you, Mike.
Love you guys.
Tell the crew. Your new host, Chris
and Mike. Yep.
Chris is great. I was watching last Monday, not this Monday, the last one, and Chris is a pleasant surprise. Phired Up Sports. You can find them everywhere: Spotify,